Awesome. There we go. Meisel is the way to pronounce it properly?
Meisel.
Meisel. Beautiful. Uh, Morning. Here we are with Ari Meisel, founder of Less Doing. We're grateful to have him. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yep. So we'll start this one the same way we start everyone, and that is, what is lifestyle design? What does it mean? What does it take? How do we do it?
Okay, jump right in. So, actually, I think a good sort of not model, but sort of a good diorama rather for that is diet. So if you look at what I try to get people to realize the difference between diet and lifestyle. So a diet is something that you are restricting yourself and something that you feel like you have to do, and usually it's something that's temporary. Whereas if you can make a healthy way of eating or a particular way of eating just a part of your lifestyle and just something that you do, then that's something that's very different, right? So it's sort of the difference. Lifestyle design is the difference between can't and don't. So I can't do that because I don't have enough money, or I can't do that because I don't have the time, or I can't do that because I don't know how. It's very different than being in the situation you want to be in, and you can say, I don't do that because I don't want to, or I choose not to, or I don't do these things that normally would be toxic to my life, or I don't do the things that make me sad, or I don't do the things I don't want to do. So for me, that I guess is sort of the crux of lifestyle design, is the difference between can't and don't.
Stop doing the things you don't want to do.
Yeah, you start eliminating those things, and you have to fill the space with something.
I preach that as much as I can. It's a big game changer when we stop watching and doing things that make us feel bad.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean not doing things that are hard, but there are things that you really don't want to do because you don't, for whatever reason. And, even like obviously nobody wants to pay bills, but you can do it in a better way, and you can make it, and you can pay those bills with a passion, maybe, or by supporting the paying of those bills with a passion that provides your income. So it's just really different ways of framing it.
Yeah, and it's embracing the idea that hard work is going to be necessary. It's going to be essential. It is without a doubt going to be there in order to have the life that you want.
Yeah, well, I am very into this sort of the concept of a black box, right? Which is the idea. Well, not the idea. It's a real thing, an engineering thing, basically, where you're putting something in and you know what you're getting out.
Huh.
So it's a system where you have sort of a standardized and knowable input versus output. And I think that that's what life is in a lot of ways. You put it in the work, you get out the benefits in a lot of ways, and it's not just like your life what you deserve, but you really do have to sort of put in and make of it what you want.
Yep, black box. That's great. Uh, Ari, what is your daily cocktail for the soul? What are the essential things you need to keep grounded and yet keep moving forward?
My kids, honestly, I have three boys. One is 22 months, and I have twin 6-month-olds.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And most mornings I go walk on the beach with my older son. And not only does that physically ground me and him, but it really just sort of reconnects me with my day and my mind, and sets the intention for the day. Spending as much time with them as I possibly can is really what gives me sort of a course in all this, because I'm really in that position now where they are the reason that I do everything,
Hmm.
and everything that I decide to take on, every possible opportunity is a decision between doing it and taking time away from being with them. And I don't know if that's healthy necessarily, but it's what makes me happy.
It sounds healthy to me. Commitment to something beyond yourself, to a higher purpose, uh,
Yeah,
to bringing more and more light into this world, and that's powerful.
thanks.
What was it before the kids? if I may ask?
Uh, you know, I mean, obviously, my wife was a big part of that, but I don't have something to compare it to.
Hmm.
Some people are meant to be parents in a lot of ways, and I think that I'm one of those people. I love the work that I do, but nothing's ever been fulfilling in the way that being a father and being the head of a family has ever been. So that doesn't mean that I wasted all those years, and I was doing all sorts of wonderful things, and I was happy at the moment. But looking back now, like this is, as far as I'm concerned, I have achieved success at this point in my life.
That's amazing. Congratulations. Will you please tell us about less doing? Tell us how we do less.
Yeah, well, so it's important to realize that less doing, to a lot of people's surprise, is a productivity system that came out of my journey overcoming a chronic illness, which usually surprises people. So I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease about 6 or 7 years ago, and had a pretty severe form of it, and was on a lot of meds, and was really sick and not feeling particularly good. And once I had figured out the nutritional and supplemental and fitness aspects of what was going on with my body, I realized that there was still this large portion that was related to stress. And obviously, stress affects everybody's lives. So I decided that I needed to figure out some systematic way of dealing with and mitigating stress, and as such, came up with a system of productivity with the goal of helping people free up as much time as possible so that they could reclaim their minds and do the things they want to do. So basically, less doing is all about helping people optimize, automate, and outsource everything in their lives in order to be more effective. And it ranges from email and to-do lists to your health and wellness. So I really try to make everything in life easier, so that, because I have this belief that everyone has this innate ability to contribute something valuable, and a lot of times it's being obfuscated by all the other crap that's going on in their life that they don't want to deal with.
Hmm. It's pretty amazing. You've taken the way we've evolved, right? Technology, and it's now it can benefit us so that we can evolve as beings. Like we can reclaim our minds, as you said.
Well, and basically, what you have to do is that it's that optimized, automated, outsource that's so important. What I try to teach people is look at anything in your life, any problem, any challenge, any recurring task, even health issues, and first try to optimize. So that's really trying to break it down into its bare bones, its like most bite-sized chunks, and paring it down to the essentials. Once you have that, then we look at automating, and automation can take many forms, from software to people to processes, whatever you might find. And then if there's anything left over, that's when we start to look at outsourcing to specialists and generalists. But it's really important to go in that order, and you really can attack things in that way and get a lot of data on things, track different things, and really figure out the best plan of attack, because there's too much stuff going on in most people's lives, and we try to take it all on. And I mean, even I can't do that. Nobody can do that. So the goal is to try to get 95% of the stuff in your daily life that you don't need to be doing and that can be done by other people or other things out of your plate, off your plate rather, and out of your mind, so that you can focus on the 5% that only you can do, and let that unique ability of yours shine.
Your unique ability. Everybody's got a gift.
I believe that, yes.
I agree with you completely. And removing, is it fair to say you think that removing outside influences and outside blinders and barriers is what allows us to see what it is, to unveil it?
Yes, completely. It's, if you have somebody who's constantly struggling to make enough money to pay for their kid's school, or somebody who's sick with a chronic illness, I mean, these things affect everybody, but of course that's going to detract from your ability to come up with, the next great company idea, or the next great personal idea for you in terms of how you're going to succeed in your life. So many people who've been through bad times and good times, and back and forth, talk about how, like, the answer was so clear but they just couldn't see it. You hear that all the time with people. a lot of times you just have to get out of your own way.
Yep. You got to get out of your own way. I think it's Marianne Williamson who says, like, we're not here to learn anything. We're just here to remember what we already know. Uh, we just
Yeah,
have
that's
to we
cool.
have to keep stripping away at all the stuff we think we've been taught.
Well, and it's true
You're frozen.
with psychology in terms of how it sort of steers us in the wrong direction a lot of times. You know, you are not so smart. You know that what's the guy's name? There's a great book and a great podcast called "You Are Not So Smart," and the guy who does it is named. Sorry, what is his name? Dave McCraney. So he's really cool and really interesting. And basically, he looks at all sorts of different psychological fallacies. And like one of them I love is called the fundamental attribution error. And that's basically the example of that is you're driving down the street, stop at a stoplight, and somebody cuts you off and goes through the red light. And your initial reaction is to think that that person is just a jerk and like a really awful person. But if you did the same thing, you probably would have a reason, and you of course never take the time to think, oh, maybe that person's going to the hospital, you know, or maybe they're having a bad day for whatever reason. We tend to attribute circumstance to a person's fundamental personality way too much. So it's just interesting things like that. But it's just one of the many examples of how we just sort of get in our own way, and our brains are just sort of working against us a lot of times.
All the time. I feel it, and it takes the work for us to find our ground, to find who we are.
Yep.
But it's
Yep.
worth it. It's definitely worth
Absolutely.
it. A life that is our life and not a life dictated by someone else and something else is a life that is just incredible.
Correct.
Correct, correct. Thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to leave us with? One tip, two tips, a final word?
Well, I think that everybody should experience working with a virtual assistant. And since you can do it for as cheap as $25 a month now, there's no reason not to at least give it a try. I believe that it is a learning experience for anybody in terms of how to effectively relay a task that needs to be done, not only by someone else, but it makes it more efficient for you. It's a transferable skill, and everybody can benefit from it. So that's my sort of number one tip is try that. And of course, you can always find out more about me and about my philosophies of how to do less at lessdoing.com.
Lessdoing.com. And how can people work with you? Any big things coming up? Any talks? Your TED Talk is phenomenal. They can all
Thank
watch
you.
that.
Thank you. Yeah, well, so this is a TED Talk. I have a number of courses online on Udemy. I teach the art of less doing and also intro to biohacking. And I have a little course on Gmail, IFTTT, and virtual assistants. I'm also doing a creative live seminar at the end of this month on November 25th and 26th, which is free to watch live. So that'd be a great one for people to check out. And then my book is actually launching on April 3rd and
Awesome.
is available for pre-order now on Amazon and Barnes& Noble.
Great. What's it called?
It's called Less Doing: How to Make Everything in Life Easier.
Awesome. I can't wait to read it. Other people watching this will be excited to read it. We'll pre-order it. Thank you so much for your time this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Have a beautiful day.
You too.
Bye.